These tires are the best. They believe that it's actually been built by one of the Christ's 12 disciples. This is the man who built the whole museum. I could not free my hands to turn the camera on. I am still in Tabriz, but I have now finally managed to get my hands on tires. I have managed to get them put on because I was slightly too lazy to do it, and especially the rear tire is really stiff, so with my short spoons it would be a nightmare. But I have also found that my front wheel is a bit out of alignment, and luckily the guy that I took it to knows a guy who is good at adjusting and centering the spokes on wheels. And finally, hopefully, it will not be wobbly. I am not too familiar with how punctual Iranian people are yet. Hopefully, it is not like Spain. Okay, it's not quite Spain. 10 minutes later, and we can start. Oh yeah, that is the old tires I kept talking about. Not the best on gravel. So I have been told that these tires are the best to put on, and that it is so much fun. And we put them on yesterday. We're taking them off today again to center the wheel. Now we've got the Dr. Cross himself. And there's a wonderful collection of motocross bikes that you don't usually see in Iran. It's not very frequent to see anything Japanese. Most of the bikes you can find are Chinese. And these guys also race. So one of the guys I met here yesterday was a reigning champion in the area, and so is this guy actually. So yeah, the bike is in good hands, and I can go and run around the city and try to get stuff done. We have the wheel back on. Meanwhile, if you need a mechanic, I can recommend these guys in Tabriz. They know what they're doing. If you need a mechanic here, then it's this guy.
Yasha.
Good morning, everybody. So today's plan, after spending a few days in Tabriz, getting a bit of rest, fixing some stuff on the bike, is heading to the border with Armenia, to the village of Jolfa. And funny enough, I've been there about 5 years ago, but from the Armenian side, and at the time I could not enter Iran. There is an ancient village and monastery. Quite excited to finally leave Tabriz, as fun as it was, and head on exploring. I have been told that the north of Iran is greener. I'm now almost in Jolfa, but 20 minutes left. Hi. This is the monastery of Saint Stephanos, and they have kindly given me permission to bring my bike up here so I can change and do some photography and store my things. It's a wonderful place, and they have been very kind to me. Look how gorgeous this place is. It's so beautiful here. So, this is the church of Saint Stephanos, I have been waiting around for a while to take a video for when it calms down, which clearly is not happening. And there are different theories about this church, and the Armenians to whom this church originally belonged think that it might be as early as 1st century, and they believe that it's actually been built by one of the Christ's 12 disciples, by Bartholomew. Well, personally, I am curious. As nice as it would be to believe that it's been here since the 1st century, the first historical notes about this place were in Armenia in the 6th century, actually. That does not necessarily mean that it is not true. It could be easily as old as they say. I guess we will never know. It does not, however, take anything from the fact that this place is absolutely beautiful. The only sad part is there's also a museum, but it is now unfortunately closed, and I've inquired before. There are no monks here. Apparently once a year Archbishop comes here and pays a visit to this place, but outside of that it is only tourists that come here, and it does not serve as a church. I have actually tried to get them to let me sleep in here. I thought it would be fantastic to take some Milky Way pictures of this place, but it is very much not allowed. The same way I could not record the journey here because the road goes along the border with Armenia, and they are very, very strict about you not filming or camping anywhere near the border. Most countries I might have actually tried my luck, but in Iran we will see, but most likely not. I think most likely I am too scared. It's one of the countries you don't want to get in trouble in. After a fantastic day at St. Stephanos, I am now heading somewhere. I still don't know where exactly am I camping, and I have just realized they still need to let me out, which they might have forgotten about. Ah, thank you. Thanks so much. Now I'll at least show you a tiny bit of the forbidden landscape. When I arrived, there is a small restaurant, and there was a huge amount of soldiers, but they were speaking English, so I think it was like a meeting of the Armenian border guards and the Iranian border guards. And luckily, all of the soldiers I've met were incredibly nice so far. So I've had it good. You have to say, it's just one of those things that are scary about Iran, because there are so many regulations that if you violate, you can be in really serious trouble. So that also means I'll just head down the hill here and take my camera off, because when I first seen the signs, the no camera signs, I just stopped and I disconnected all of the cameras, made sure that I don't look suspicious. They're always so nice, but every now and then you read a story in the news, you know, and you think, oh, I don't want to be that statistic. But the landscape is incredible. And now the temperature is even nice. When I arrived, I was so hot, and I mean so hot. It was like 30, I don't know how many degrees, 30 many degrees, and I was so lucky. They let me bring my motorcycle all the way up, and they've said, oh, this was the first time we've let somebody come up. Normally we never allow this. And so they were super nice to me, and they let me store all my stuff in their office, so I could go around for a couple of hours without having to wear boots and motorcycle trousers and jacket. And it was so nice. I got properly sunburned. I sort of forgot to put on any sunscreen, so tomorrow I will most likely look like Zoidberg from Futurama. I think that's gonna be my look. Riding right now is very interesting because I've got dark visor on, very dark visor, the illegal kind. I was too lazy to change it, so I can't see much. And if I open the visor, which I've done, I ended up eating a lot of insects, and it was not particularly pleasant. It's also very windy. Last night I have arrived in this village in the mountains in the middle of nowhere, and by a fluke of a chance, when I spoke to someone in the village asking where is the accommodation, and they weren't quite sure, but they brought me to this place, which is an eco museum in the mountains, which has a huge amount of endemic species of very cool animals, very cool birds, and there is also a lot of archaeological finds. The guy who started this place, you can see his picture here, started it around 10 years ago. His name is Eskandar, and started it from scratch, just with some findings of local archaeology bits. This is where I have been sleeping, where they kindly offered to accommodate me. As you can see, it's still a mess. A lot of my stuff is charging, which I was very, very happy about. Local symbols, these statues, and they made them as sort of a tombstone for important people. They can have different symbols on them that sort of tell you who that person was. In this case, on the side of the sheep, you can see a sword. So this means the person was a warrior, 3,000, 4,000 years old. Local archaeology finds. It is very impressive. Okay, I've had to reset the camera to don't get the LED flicker. It looks like we're okay now. So here you have taxidermy of some of the species that you can find. So they've got small brown bears and they've got wolves, which I was very much inquiring, where can I see a wolf? I really want to photograph wolves. In the summer, it's not really possible. But they were saying in the winter, if I came here, there is a lot of wolves and you can see them frequently. There are sort of better preserved tombstones here also. So as you can see, this, for instance, is the sign for the archer. And this symbol symbolizes, and on the top, that the person is like a strong man, a strong warrior. In the Saint Stephanos church, I could also find these symbols on some of the tombstones there. So here they finally told me what they mean. Foxes. We had a fox running around about 30 meters away from us. There are so many. And here you have some of the older archaeology finds. So these are about 250 million years old, from the time where this place was still underwater. And here is the part with more of a modern history of the place. So, as you can see, Iran is the place to visit. It gets bad reputation internationally. I always have one thing to say on that subject, and that is don't confuse the people with their government. Iranian people are so welcoming, so friendly, so nice. It's an amazing country to visit. You are invited and welcomed everywhere, and they really want to show and share their culture, their nature, their customs with you. It really feels so nice meeting people here. This is the man who built the whole museum and hosted me in his house, and sadly the communication problems are real with languages, but thank you so much for having me here. So you have to come and visit this guy and see his museum. All right, thank you so much.
Merci. Goodbye.
And see you again someday. Thank you. Teşekkür. We are entering the border area again for the next 40 or 50 kilometers. I'm a little bit stressed because I don't have a lot of petrol, and I'm not sure when is the next petrol. We'll see. I mean, most likely it's gonna be okay. Goodbye, cameras. Let's not get arrested. So, see you when I get to the waterfall. Very briefly, because the water is going everywhere. So, it's a nice, gorgeous little place, but it is also extremely busy. I really love to do a bit of photography here. I'd love to have created an idyllic idea of me being alone around a beautiful waterfall, but I don't think I could manage to fool anyone, because there are so many people, crazy amount of people, but it is a beautiful place, so it does make sense, despite the fact it is actually quite remote. I have now left the border area and went into these mountains towards my destination today. I'm not sure what the altitude is, but I'm suspecting around 2,500–3,000 meters. The temperature dropped a lot. Down there was around 30, now it's about 20. And how magnificent is this view? Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Oh wow. Please don't fall. How absolutely glorious is this? Now the question is, can I take the camera out fast enough? Let's hope so. Wow. Oh, I love this place. This is so beautiful. Iran is a beautiful country, and I have to say that the mountains here are really becoming my favorite. I guess I'm nearing the summit. It is not exactly what I've imagined. It feels like Scotland. Literally the exact same view you get from most Scottish mountains most of the time. I am actually looking forward to dropping some altitude, because I'm not gonna lie, I am cold. I'm like actually cold. What is it? It's 14 degrees. 14! The last, I don't know how many months have been 30, 35, 37 or 8 at some point. Every day. And now, Iranian mountains, 14 degrees. And I really want to stop and put on a jacket. And I'm also really lazy to do exactly that. So I guess I'll find out whether the laziness or the cold will prevail. And I should be smart and just stop and put on a jacket, because I have been sick. But then you have to get off the bike, you have to take the backpack off, take the jacket off, open the luggage, find the jacket, put it all on again. It takes like an entire 2 minutes. Horrendous. Horrendous. Do you have the same problem when you are just too lazy to stop and get off the bike, even if it's like a minuscule amount of time to do something? It's why I love the hydration bladder so much, because when I don't have it, I'm too lazy to stop and take off my helmet to drink water, and then I'm dehydrated. Or thanks to whoever invented hydration bladders. You have my eternal gratitude that you are responsible for my hydration. 13 degrees. It should be going higher, not lower. It is a very nice feature of the electronic Scott Oiler that I appreciate a lot, because I have never had or seen a motorcycle that tells you ambient temperature. There are very, very many tents where people live and tend to their sheep at certain seasons, and they sell honey. I love the honey in Iran. It is so nice. Clean, pure, mountain produced. None of that supermarket nonsense that just tastes like sugar. So I figured I'd check out this hill and maybe camp up here. And I took this sort of first dirt road that I've seen up there, which looked really nice from the distance. Once I got there, it turned out very steep and very muddy. Slightly more than I bargained for. Sadly, I could not free my hands to turn the camera on by the time I was there. It was slightly nasty. So certainly a good adventure for the evening. And then at some point it joined up with this other path that you've just seen, and that one was actually nice. Sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go up this road, you know, why not? Then you get there and you're like, beep 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 beep. Oh, I've beeped it out manually by my mouth so you can imagine which words I was about to use. But it is a nice spot. Now if I can only find a wee spot that is not rocky.